Okay, so another moment with you, my YouTube family and friends. It's another great moment to be here. I'm in school today again. We have a class that's not here, so this is actually my lunchtime. And as we're closing another year, a thought came to me to just share with you my journey as a teacher practitioner. There's been some great moments, and there have been some moments which are not so great. But overall, there have been a lot of great moments. I'm just hoping that wherever you all are, that you're safe, that you're well, and that as the holidays come on, that it is bringing some good tidings of great joy. This is the time that is celebrated as Christ's birth, and he became the mediator for us and all who believe. And so there are things we don't know, and there are things that we are aware of. And so, you know what? We continue to believe and to trust and to hope and to move forward, understanding that no matter what, that there is a supreme being, and whatever we conceive him to be, that the realism is that there is a supreme being, because we're here, and there is so much that we have to be thankful for, that we don't need to start dissecting anything. We just need to be hopeful and to understand that we didn't just happen here by ourselves. So with that said, I want to thank all of you for your support. Again, as I said, as the year comes to an end, I am thankful to all of you who have been here and being with me throughout the year, and for the time that I've been a presence here on this journey. So as I said, as a teacher practitioner, I've been doing this since 1997. I graduated community college or junior college, and I started out teaching not teaching, but supporting a teacher in the Bronx, New York. That's where it started. I finished school. I finished some of my education there, and so I was placed in a 5th grade classroom to support a teacher. A year after 1999, I received my bachelor's degree in behavioral science. And when I did that, somehow it seemed a little overwhelming. I wasn't thinking, honestly. I just needed a break, and that break took me to Jamaica. Gave up everything, and just packed and went home with the children. And it was a good move, but I think Jamaica was ready for me, but I wasn't ready for Jamaica, because going back there at the time, I wasn't prepared financially. And so when I went back, I had to work. And being a teacher at the time in 1999, the salary was very small, very, very small. I had the 3 children, and I had to feed them. I paid somebody to come in and do some cleaning. At first, we lived at the family house, but then we moved on to our own place, and so then that was furniture. I had enough to purchase furniture to furnish a 2-bedroom, comfortably, very comfortably. But then for traveling to schools and to pay someone to come in, I decided to teach computer classes there, and most of it was actually giving away the services because so many people needed the support, and they didn't have the funds. So I was quick to say, send your daughter, send your child, send your, just send them. So I was able to teach quite a few how to use computers, then how to just use some of the functions of the computer. Then, as I said, my daughters, we have been, the powerhouse. We have worked together all the time. And even though they were young then, they were still in high school. And the older twin, she said, Mommy, if you go back to teach in New York, we do much better than teaching in Jamaica, because what you make in Jamaica would have been a week's salary in New York. So if you leave the helper with us, we'll be all right. And I thought about it, and I know they've been responsible kids. They have not gotten caught up into things. And so I took the challenge, and I left them with the helper. She was willing to stay, so we agreed on the price, and I left, and I came back to America, and stayed with my sister in New York, and until it was time, I got my things together, and I got hired in New York City to teach 5th grade. Quite an interesting venture, because at the time in New York, you had 35 kids in a classroom. So when I went, I did get a mentor, which was awesome. She stayed with me for, I think, 3 weeks. And then it was time for me to take over, and I was a little nervous. But eventually she weaned me off, and by the end of a month, I was on my own with these children. Challenging, because it's an inner city, and children, the needs are great always in the inner cities. A lot of behavior issues, because, as I said, when parents have to work, or parents are young and they do not understand a lot of things, and the children get away with so much, and with lack of supervision, they bring these things to the classroom. So it was hard. But I managed through, and the greatest thing for that year was, even though I got the lowest performing kids, because I was the last teacher to be hired, the kids made good progress. They didn't get to a lot of proficiencies, but they moved up from level 1s to a lot of level 2s, and it was a good year. The principal was impressed, Mrs. Linda Irizarry. I remember her well. She was impressed, and for the next school year, she made me the lead teacher for the 5th grade. So that was a big deal, because there was another teacher who was there for a long time, and he was not happy that I came in as a new teacher and got that position. But it was the principal's decision, and it was a final decision. So he wasn't happy with me after that. He was a very, little. But we worked well. I got a lot of things done for us. I got fans for every classroom. Those days, there wasn't a lot. The buildings needed a lot of love. So we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have things like those. We didn't even have a clock in the classrooms. So I advocated for that from the PTO. We all received clocks, nice new clocks for the classrooms. We all had our fans. We had enough fans that the classrooms were a little cooler. And there was a lot going on, so we got things done. And at the when it was time for graduation, we had a trip that was coming right here to Connecticut. And I think it was a moment where children all the kids should have been able to come because it was out of the city. It would have been a new experience for them. And so I decided that after my class paid for their trips and I saw that there was at least 10 kids who were not going to be able to come on the trip, I said, I have to pay for these kids. So I paid for them so they could come and they could be on the trip and to enjoy the moment. And I think with all those things, the PTO, when they found these things out, they started advocating for me to become like a teacher of the year. I don't even know that, but I know at the end, they said to me one night that you need to show up in the district's office at the district because they're having a meeting there. So I stayed at school until it was 5:30. Then I just went to this meeting. And then at the meeting, they gave me this award from the superintendent. So they called my name and I went on stage and he handed me this beautiful award, which you'll see as my thumbnail. And it was a big deal, second year teacher in this place, and my work was acknowledged, and so it was a great moment. I first time, the exposure, but didn't understand it because other people who were there for different reasons, they had family with them, and I was just there by myself. So, but it was exhilarating, and I kept my plaque because it meant much to me. But then after that year, that principal left, and when she left, I also left the Bronx, and I moved here to Connecticut. And I remembered when I interviewed for my first job that they said the interview went well and they were going to hire me for a 5th grade position. But that didn't work that way because after they left and I was home waiting and waiting for them to call, there was no call. And one afternoon I got a call from Mr. Martin, who was the principal for a school, Rawson, Sarah J. Rawson School, and he invited me for an interview. And I said, but I'm waiting because this other school hired me. He says, you need to come for an interview. And I was thanked. It worked out to be the best thing because that interview went well. They hired me. And when I started working, even though he and I had some interesting moments, the population that I worked with was awesome because it was a lot of West Indian kids. I was there as the buffer for them, as a huge support because the language was a problem when they came. Different things were hard for them as they tried to assimilate into this public school system. So I was placed in a position that, as I always say, my aunt says it, and I say it, God put us where he wants us to be. And he gives us the things he wants us to have. So being in that position was a great thing. And I worked there until, even though I was certified in New York, I'd taken the test there and I passed them. But when I came to Connecticut, I had to start all over because in order for me to have just so I don't know, the light went out and the video stopped, but I think we'll continue on. So as I said, now I'm teaching in Connecticut, and the principal was an awesome person. I'm working with kids from the West Indies, and so that created a nice atmosphere for me because I could understand them. I could be there as their support, and so it went well for a minute. But then my principal, there are times when we had to clash in a good way or a bad way, but in a good way, in a respectful way, because there are times he would be talking to me or I'm talking to him, and he would say something like, oh, I don't understand. And it would tee me off because a lot of people he has to work with were people from the islands. So I was more of a quiet person. I just kept working. And as I taught my children, I say, always, wherever you go, let your work precede you. Let the things that you do, let people see the work you're capable of doing, and don't worry about anything else. Because at the end of the day, you find that when people see your work, doesn't matter what, they tend to appreciate it. So I worked hard and we had good results. I taught sixth grade since I came to Connecticut. I've been a sixth grade teacher. At the time, I taught all subjects. We call it common branch. It means you teach every subject. And the kids excelled in reading and in math. It was always so awesome. And the principal would always say, there are things that I wasn't so strong with, but he gave me the opportunity, and he says, I believe in you, and I trust in you, so I always give you that platform for you to excel. And it's true, because lesson plans, formal lesson plans, even to this day, I hate them. I don't like when people expect you to create 2 weeks lesson plans when so much changes within the week. Sometimes you do 2 weeks and sometimes the second day in the first week something happens. You didn't even get to finish that lesson. So you can't jump from that to the next lesson if you didn't finish that lesson. So I always fought against it. I said lesson plans should be the way I planned it, where I use sticky notes. I know what my materials would be. And I put things together for my lessons each day. So if I'm not finished with that lesson, I can go back to it the next day and finish it and start something new. And so it has been a fight for me for forever, because I keep saying it shouldn't be so. So I continue to do that. But the one great thing is that when my principals walk into the room at any time of the day, they see that learning is happening. They see that classroom management is one of my best attributes, because there's something that helps me to understand children. And so I always start my year off as I'm a parent first and then a teacher. And so I come in knowing the kids are growing up, they're changing, they're the sixth grade, they're so social. This is where they start finding, oh, I'm dating this one, I'm dating that one, and they're trying to find their sexuality, they're trying to find who they are and what they are about. And so it's an interesting time for them. But God has really given me that sixth sense of working with them and understanding them, so that we have been successful through the years. So because of those things, I gain a lot of respect from my first principal here in the state, and he always supported me in the things that I do, even though he might say, oh, I don't understand you when you speak, but I know he, eventually he got it. 3 years in to teaching at that school, the state, they want you to have the certification for the state. My battle with them was every year my students did well. So why are you stressing me for this paper when you know that I have what you want? You just need me to do these papers, do a video, and it's just a lot of hot air. So I resigned because I refused to do it. They said, well, you have to do 3 graduate credits. I said, well, I already have a master's degree, because by then in the second year I came here, I got my master's degree. So I said, no, I'm not going to take 3 credits because you fail to appreciate or accept what I bring to the table. I said, send your people out to observe me, but I'm not doing a video, and I'm not writing a 100-page document about anything. So with that, I resigned, which was, my principal didn't take it nicely. But I moved to Maryland and got a job in Maryland to teach um, sixth grade again. I did it for, I think, 2.5 years. And then I moved back here to Connecticut. When I moved back here, I went back to the same principal, and they rehired me to teach at that school. So, as an educator, the, 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 there have been some challenges, but not as much. We have to understand there are prejudices in whatever we do. If you're in America, we all have to understand that. It's never going to be a smooth sailing situation. You're going to have people who still are hung up from the days of slavery, and they still have those things in them. But as I said to young people, I use that for my children and for myself. Just work hard. You're hired to do a job. Do the best job you can do. When you walk away, let people remember the job you did. Don't let them have to think about your color, how big you were, how little you were, or whatever you look like. Don't let them remember that about you and feel like, ew. Let them remember the job you do and understand that. They will miss what you brought to the table, but you can walk away with your head held high because you did the best you could have done. So with that said, I'm still here teaching sixth grade. It's the grade that I've really done very well in. I did a year of fifth grade, a couple of years of fifth grade along with, here in Connecticut, but it has not been as fulfilling as my work with the sixth grade students. So as we go forward, and as I said, as we close out another year, I can look back and just appreciate my career as an educator. It has had more encouraging moments than discouraging moments. It's not an easy task. Don't ever think working with children with so many different personalities, coming from so many different backgrounds, coming with so many different behaviors to deal with. It's never easy. But you know what? When you fall in love with something and you know this is what you want to do, you wake up every day, you give thanks, and you step right back into it, and you do the best you can do. And you want to see the smiles on the children's faces, and you want to see the excitement when they understand something, and you want to see the progress being made, and you want to see the things that you have taught them materialize into good things and see the changes that they make. So as a teacher practitioner who comes in every day with so many different hats you have to wear as a teacher, but it is rewarding, it is fulfilling. And if you have thought about what you want to do as a career person, think about teaching. Think about educating some young minds to become great people of this world. Think about the changes you can make in a parent's life to help them appreciate their children more and to help them build the kids' self-esteem so the kids can feel good as they move about. So think of these things and, become a teacher. I'm just advocating. Become a teacher because it's a good thing. It's a great profession. I mean, they don't pay us as we deserve, but it's a good profession. And at the end of the day, it will pay off. And we can go forward and say we've done the best that we can do. So as the year ends, please reflect on your journey, whatever your career is, and just find the good moments in it and cherish those good moments and see as the year we get ready for a new year that you can start preparing yourself for what is to come. I know we should not plan for tomorrow because we don't know what, tomorrow will bring, but I'm just saying we can start thinking about it so that if there are changes to be made, you can be prepared to make them for better. So my people, as I said, I cherish your time listening to my voice. I don't know, but I do cherish the time you spend listening, commenting, supporting, laughing, reaching out. Those of you who have been buying my shirts and wearing them proudly, I thank you. I just did a couple shirts for one person on Sunday, where she reached out and she says, Miss Bev, I need to order some shirts, and it's a good feeling, and I'm happy to do it. And I'm also happy when you reach out and say, I shared a video with so and so. I couldn't even understand it, but she found a video from way back that I did about a young man who gave a powerful speech, and I I I I just smiled because I said this wasn't even a current video, but I could see that people are watching even the older videos and sharing them. She says, I sent it to my pastor. He's a teacher and in a high school, and I think they need to hear this. And so, Miss Manalva, I want to thank you. I want to thank all of you, Mojo, Jojo. I don't want to really, Tanya, all of you guys who have just been supportive. AG, you're just awesome. Fiery, Morris Kingpin, did I say Terrian? Just all of you awesome people out there who, oh my God, my friend Ernestine from Great Britain, thank you so much. I love you and I appreciate you. And just all of you. I mean, I can't remember all of you. I have over 1,270 something of you, but I appreciate all of you. And I thank you for caring. Michael, thank you, Michael from Canada. Yvette, Sandra T, all of you who have been just there. It has been an awesome journey. And Queen V, thank you. Remember the days when you would just drop my link and keep dropping my link and encouraging people to go and support Miss Bev's production. And yeah, Miss Bev's production is here, and we continue on the journey. When we start journeys, sometimes you're going to have rocky patches, and it's not going to be all a smooth way. If it's all smooth, then look out, because there has to be some rough patches, because that's how God tests us to see, what our strengths are. So for all of you who have been there, Rosalie, all of you, Erin, remember when I was trying to do my watch time and you would be up late nights with me, early mornings with me as we watch the encores, and all of you, and I say some names often because you have been consistently there. You have watched every video, you have commented on every video, you have been there. And so I have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I forget a name of any of you who have been there, please don't think it's, just know that I can't remember all the names. But I thank you guys. I'm here, I'm happy, I am very happy. You go through life and you gain experiences and you get into some things and oh, my family, I can't forget my family. I'm gonna forget my family. My sister, who sometimes just sits in New York, sister, you're beaming so much. And my aunt in Jamaica, who she says, I don't get to watch them, but I listen to them. That counts for something. And my daughters, thank you so much. I know you're not into social media, but thank you. My son, thank you. My brother, thank you. All of you, I don't want to forget anyone, but all of you, just know that I appreciate you, and you all hold special places in my heart, for different reasons. You all have that special place in my heart, and I thank you. So as we go on, please find your special moments, be proud of them, share them so others can learn from them, and just go forth with thanksgiving always. And Ronald, I hope you're fine. I hope you're okay. Um, I know you watch, but you don't get a chance to comment as often. Bunny in UK, doing your channel and doing your thing. I wish you well, Gullycock. I wish you well. You've started out and you're doing a good job. Please just continue on your journey and know that you're going to have great times and bad times, but let the great times cover the bad times. So, thank you again. Thank you to all my friends, all my supporters, all my well-wishers. Thank you, and all the best as the year draws to an end, and however you decide to celebrate your holidays. The light just went out again. The light just went off. It's on a sensor, and because I'm not moving, it went out. But I am here, my people. And so I sign off now with love. Love in every respect for each and every one of you where you are, whatever you're doing. I wish you God's blessings and hope and pray for all that's healthy and peaceful and kind for you for the year's end and the new year coming. Thank you. So just a quick snippet. That is my award that I received. See, 2002, Community School Board 9. That was in New York when I started. That was my second year, 2000 to 2001, 2001 to 2002. That was a great year. And I received this award from the superintendent. So there were some great times. I still enjoy what I do. I'm just giving thanks for the years I've been able to put in and still able to continue doing what I do, and to just share this little bit of my achievements with you. Yeah, you all know my name now because it's on my email too, so no big deal.